We are now live.
We're live on both places. Instagram and Facebook, that is, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You're now live. We were live. It says 35 seconds.
All right.
Okay.
We are live. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
just making sure everything's right.
All right. All right.
Right here. Hi, Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
Hi, Facebook. Oh, we need to look right there. Okay.
All right. You guys should see over there. I'm gonna put it on.
All right, you guys. You might want some tea.
We ain't gonna be here all night. That popped up last night. I don't know if we need it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay. We're checking the frame rate, guys. Hold on a second.
It ended up being okay yesterday.
Yeah, I think it probably is. All right.
Oh, there's one person.
Yay! Actually, I think it's probably going to be fine. It was all right last night.
It was all right last night. Okay. So, I spent all afternoon.
Yes.
Working with Philip on what autism is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of information.
There is.
You might want a pencil and paper. You might want to open your notes on your phone or get a Google Doc.
Or just listen now and watch it later and take notes later. Either way. Any of those ways.
This is all the possibilities. This doesn't mean that you have every single one of these things.
Right. And because I didn't and nobody else did. At least the other folks I know. I mean, with any kind of disorder or whatever, nobody has all the symptoms of it. So, you know.
So what we're doing is drinking some tea, because this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, because apparently we need the caffeine for cognitive.
It's Earl Grey.
We're not bald, nor do we captain a starship named Enterprise. Right.
Okay, so the first thing, Mark, I did not even have time to give Mark the lowdown.
We didn't really, and she's probably got like 9 pages of stuff here.
So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what causes autism. And this doesn't mean that everyone has all of these.
Right. In fact, you may have just a few of those, or a couple of those, you know.
And I want to start by saying 85% of the world's population has some form of this.
Whether so mild that it's barely noticeable to definitely severe and nonverbal and that kind of thing.
Right. It's a spectrum. But if we healed everyone in the world, can you imagine what our world would be like? Wouldn't that be really cool?
Mm-hmm.
So the physical can be healed 65%, the physical body.
Now, okay, well, that's kind of saying basically what I was getting ready to say. So, okay.
The rest is the emotional body needs 40. This is 40% healing. And the energetic body needs 30% healing, and the electrical body needs 70% healing. Now, this is to get to the 5th dimension. Mark, do you want to speak about that?
The 5th dimension.
It's a vibration.
Mm-hmm. And it's a vibration. Last year is when she started learning about this, or maybe it was very early this year. And I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, I know how it sounds. But it's odd because I've watched changes happen for me over this past year that I did not initiate. Same for her. And so, and that being the case, and what I mean by changes is not being bugged by certain things in life. Not being worried by other things in life. Of course, now being bugged to me is getting angry about something in life. Being worried is a whole other thing. I hardly get worried about anything anymore. And so, and a lot of those changes came about partly because I did some work, but truthfully, at least 50% of the change was nothing that I did. And I thought, I wonder why that's happening. Well, as Michelle has talked about periodically, the electrical body, the emotional body, the energetic body, those things as they heal, after you get to a certain point, they seem to tend to heal on their own. I know that sounds strange, but if your body has a self-healing mechanism, your physical body, why wouldn't your other bodies?
Well, so what happens is you raise your vibration to the 5th dimension, and then more light comes into the body and heals it.
Right. Now, there seems to be 1st dimension, 2nd dimension, and 3rd dimension. And for the most part, I think, listening to what Philip had to say from her, humans skip the 4th dimension, and we go into the 5th.
No, it's some of the higher yogis are in the 4th. The 5th wasn't...
Because I thought he said that the 4th dimension is mostly for animals.
I don't tell you everything I learned because...
You don't have time.
I don't have time.
Neither do I.
Well, anyway, most people are on the 2nd and 3rd dimension right now.
Right. Now, let's point out that he also says that rocks are on the 2nd dimension. So think about that for a minute. The phrase "dumb as rocks." Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what autism is now. What causes autism? These are mold. Oh, yes.
Sorry. That 5th dimension seems to be the dimension where healing takes place on its own. More light comes in to heal you more often. Your vibration, the nice harmonious vibes that you put out get really high at that point. Anyway, I think that's a quick definition of 5th dimension.
And who is Philip? And where am I getting all this information?
Philip is the entity that she began talking to last year in August. So it's been a little over 14 months. And for those of you who might be skeptical of that, believe me, we both were skeptical too, because we grew up as pastors' kids. So there's other videos you can watch here to find out more on 12th Light University, our Facebook page, to find out more about our backgrounds on this.
Or our website.
Or the website, 12thlightuniversity.com.
12th.
Right, 12th Light University. And the whole point I'm saying all this is to give you guys who don't know just a little bit of background.
Okay, so mold, biofilm, which we talked about the other night.
Mold makes sense.
Shingles. Now again, not everyone has every one of these. These are possibilities.
Yeah, if you did, you'd probably be dead.
Histamine, strep, SIBO, heavy metals, human herpes virus, yeast, nerve damage, a group of beliefs around schizophrenia,
Interesting.
the group of beliefs around depression, waste matter. Can you explain that to people?
Waste matter. Philip calls it waste matter.
Well, so did medical medium.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but me, it's basically broken down toxins, broken. You know what? The human body does get rid of waste matter. In fact, let me explain real quick. That's what feces is.
Right.
That's what urine is.
Right.
You pee or poop out broken down viruses, broken down dead viruses, dead bacteria, dead skin cells, kitty hair, dog hair, all kinds of things. That's technically waste. Dead skin cells that you've swallowed from the inside of your mouth. That kind of stuff. I mean, that sounds gross, but the truth is, hey, there's a second viewer. Hey! And
well, there's 2 on Insta.
Oh, so total of 4. Hey! And
1 left.
Okay. Boo. Okay. But anyway,
you sound like Father Ted.
That did sound like Father Ted. But anyway, but we eliminate waste matter from our bodies all the time.
But this is saying that it's stuck in our bodies.
Well, in lymph.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Malfunctioning kidneys or malfunctioning liver or that kind of stuff.
Okay. Herpes simplex virus. Oh, we didn't look up CMV. I think that's something medical medium talks about there.
Here, I'll go get my phone. I'll be right back.
Epstein-Barr.
Yeah.
Parasites. PANS. Alexithymia. Alzheimer's. Now, a lot of these are where the metals are located in the brain. We have labeled these things other illnesses. So Alzheimer is a specific place in the brain. It's also a specific metal. Alexithymia is the same way. Dyslexia is the same way. OCD, ADHD is another brain place specific metal. I have not looked into that. Like I said, I've been working on this since 3 and got to this point at 7:30 and had to eat something. So he said this is 95% complete. Bipolar, that's also the kind of metal and where it is in the brain. PTSD, I need to... Totally, yeah. Yeah. ADD.
Yep.
What were you looking at, Mark?
CMV.
Okay, what is it?
CMV, cytomegalovirus. And humans and monkeys are natural hosts. There's 11 species in this genus, which includes the human beta herpes virus 5. The cytomegalovirus is somewhat related to the herpes family.
Okay, so this is not... My information isn't in order. I didn't have time to do that. So, moving on. Lead, platinum, silver, pyrite,
okay,
arsenic,
all right,
mercury,
arsenic I can see, mercury, yeah,
cadmium, aluminum,
yeah, definitely,
copper,
yeah.
Iron can be a problem, depending on what kind of iron it is.
Yeah, too much of anything can be a problem, I imagine.
Now I'm going to go into some things. As I said, this isn't in any kind of special order that I would like for it to be in, but zinc. Now, you can have a deficiency and you can have too much. We need it, though, if we don't have enough.
Right.
So he did say that he prefers zinc, colloidal zinc, to any other.
Isn't that what that zinc is that we have in there?
I think so.
Okay.
If you can't get colloidal zinc using zinc gluconate, he recommends 65%. So that's a pretty big drop from 100% to 65%. And then orotate would be 55%. So he really would like zinc, colloidal zinc to be used.
You mentioned aluminum, nutritional deficiencies.
Nutritional deficiencies.
You got down to iron.
Copper, iron. If you're taking antiviral measures, then it's advantageous to take iron. And I can't remember.
Did you say if you're doing antiviral measures?
Right, because viruses like to eat
iron. So, did you say it was advantageous?
It is advantageous to take iron if you have autism. The plant-based kind. If you are taking antiviral measures.
Well, if viruses eat the iron, that wouldn't be helpful.
Yeah, but if you are taking garlic or VSC to get the viral problems under control, then
right.
You can take the iron.
Oh, I see. That would be the time when to take the iron.
Because if you are clearing out your viruses.
Yeah, right. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
All right. He says some people use colloidal gold, and that actually makes autism worse.
Yeah, see, gold can be toxic. I mean, so can any heavy metals. I mean, as you see with people with autism. And, you know, I know there'd be a lot of adults on the spectrum, but that's not science. You know, if you look it up, it is. There's all kinds of metals associated with autism. And almost all of them that we mentioned here, I've seen in scientific papers on autism. So gold, however, has not been one, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be, you know.
He also said that a lot of people use ferritin for autism. See, I don't know all these things. He said that can actually make autism worse. It's better to use iron.
No, ferritin is a type of iron.
I know.
Enzyme, but
Yeah.
what kind of iron?
What do you mean?
Well, he said it's best to use iron.
The
but
plant-based.
what type? Oh, okay. All right. Plant-based iron.
You can also have titanium in your system. I think you did.
Yeah, I think so.
You can have gold in your system, germanium. I know Mark had germanium.
Yeah, I think so. Because we took something very specific for that. I don't remember what it was.
Okay, so he went into the Nemechek protocol and said that can make things worse sometimes. So that would depend on the individual. He also says colloidal silver should be used like it's a prescription. And if you don't know exactly how much to take, it's best not to take it or to give it. Okay. Then we have this whole silver, copper, cesium, iodine thing Mark's going to talk about.
Which was very interesting because while I couldn't find much on cesium and silver, Philip pointed out that cesium combines with iodine quite readily. In fact, to the point of causing a deficiency. And looking up in PubMed Central, cesium binds with iodine and causes a deficiency in thyroid function. And I'd have to find that paper again, but I find that interesting because you can tell, and I've seen this in so many adults with autism, even with me, hormones don't work correctly at all. And I didn't have to shave until I was in my mid to late 20s. And even then it wasn't regularly. And now I just shave every other day. But I will say that this is the hairiest I've been.
He healed and got hairy.
Right? And but interestingly enough, I'm sure I still have a very underactive thyroid. And that being the case, think about the lack of hormones and the lack of... I imagine most of you out there with kids on the spectrum who are old enough to have gone through puberty, puberty probably was not like you expected puberty to be for your kid on the spectrum. In fact, it probably wasn't anything like normal at all. And so all those hormonal changes probably didn't occur the same way they would have in a kid who was much healthier. And so my puberty wasn't this really, I don't think, was normal. It's hard to remember because
I wasn't there.
I know you weren't. And I'm not looking at you to say, hey, tell me. Yeah. But, you know, it just wasn't, I just wasn't physically advanced enough for my age, you know. So
when did you finally look like you were 18?
Not until I was in my mid-20s, probably, you know, and that makes a difference. So
I want to talk about the iodine. We do need it, but he said the only form that's okay that won't bind with silver, copper, or cesium is detoxidine, which is what medical medium says to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to take iodoral. So who knows what that did to me. But now we take detoxidine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're going to move into the electrical body, chakras. He specifically states, and if you can find someone who works on chakras, that this is what needs to be done. Now, if you want help, I can do your chakras.
Yes.
But if...
and she's good at it because she has to do mine and the cat's and hers sometimes every day.
Yes. More than once. So I can do it for you.
Yes.
But, you know, that would be an energy consultation.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's what he says needs to happen to chakras. And I'm using the 12 chakra system, with 3 being the one at the feet.
And 1 and 2 below that.
Right. So 3 and 4 need to be opened. 8 needs to be cleared. 7 has holes and needs to be opened. 10 and 11 need to be connected to the tube torus. 9 needs to be closed. 12 needs to be cleared. 2, 3, and 4 has doors, plates, walls, leaks, obstructions, and needs to be cleared. 1 has doors. This only needs to be done one time, and it will make the person 75% better in their electrical system. Now, things can happen daily,
Yes.
but this will help clear up what's causing the autism. I said help, because this is just one of the bodies.
Yeah, there seems to, it's either 4 or 5, and you've got to heal all 4 or 5 of them to really get healthy. Why? Because I had to. And I'm still working on some of it. But it just, for people like, oh, I healed my kid in 6 months. Yeah, okay, let me see that kid. I mean, seriously. So what she's talking about is this is only one area you have to heal in.
So, like I said, this is jumping around because that's how it was given to me.
Exactly. She hadn't had time to organize.
I haven't had time to organize. But I'm going to put this into a PDF format and offer it on the website. Okay, so things that can be wrong when there is autism. Pancreas is overactive. The liver and pituitary gland are overactive. The lymph is overactive, and there's too much progesterone in the system. So those are some things that can be wrong. And you need to consider that, especially the liver, the lymph, the pain, all, because if you're thinking about over-the-counter medicines that are not good for the liver, you might consider not using those with your autistic person. Okay, so how to change your life in autism. Well, you have to clear your family lineage. So let's go to that, because I know he did a whole thing on it. Where is it? Here it is. Family genetics, programming, beliefs that are passed down through generations, and they show up as these 25 things. High blood pressure. Now this can be, you might not have all 25, but if you have these are part of the programming, part of your belief systems. They're manifesting as this.
Mm-hmm.
So high blood pressure, patterns of the father, which makes sense because they often say autism is passed down.
Well, my dad had some very mild symptoms while his maternal uncle, Uncle Herb, was like Rain Man. So, if that gives you any indication. In fact, you know what? I'll say yes to all the things that I had to work on.
Migraines.
Yes.
Relationship patterns.
Yes.
Poor circulation.
Yes.
Sex addiction.
Yes.
Verbal abuse.
Yes.
Gallstones.
Okay.
Other patterns that would be individual.
Yes.
Physical abuse. Mental illness.
Yes.
Kidney stones.
Yes.
High cholesterol.
Yes.
Anemia.
Yes.
Epileptic seizures. Cancer. Gout. Stomach ulcers.
Possibly.
Stroke. Skin conditions.
Yes.
Alcoholism. Negative thinking patterns.
Yes.
Thyroid problems.
Yes.
Obesity.
Yes.
Arthritis.
I think so.
You had a lot of these.
I had the vast majority of them.
And you've worked on these.
Yes. And most of them are gone. I mean, I had high blood pressure, patterns of the father, definitely. So, I mean, I had at least 20 of those.
And when we say we've worked on these, we mean the channels.
Yeah, the channels that we've been talking about, the healing channels that you put an illness or a disorder through, you breathe it through those channels, and it starts to clear up.
This one specifically, he suggests putting it through each one of these, whatever it is that you are experiencing, putting it through the miracle channel.
Mm-hmm.
And those are on the website. The channels are on the website.
They are.
So any of those that speak to you, you go to the website and look up under Human Factory Reset Software. There's a drawing, a figure, of the Miracle Channel.
Well, a little pop-up box, if you put your email in, you get a PDF of how to use those channels.
Yeah, and you can just download it and
Exactly.
have it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free. Okay, so that's all in the Miracle Channel. Now I'm going to go back.
Oh, good God.
I know. He was being thorough.
Thorough.
He said how to change your life. Release anger and rage.
Yes.
Mark can speak to that.
Yes.
How long ago did it finally go away? Just a couple
ago.
weeks ago.
Just a few months ago, yeah. A few months, weeks, yeah. You know, and I've been working on it since the 90s, mid-90s.
And that was strep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a lot of
Oh,
strep.
well, yeah, it was. Because the strep, the byproducts of the strep bacteria really can keep you in an angry place. And that's why a lot of autistic adults or adults on the spectrum are angry, is really because of strep.
Yeah.
Not really, well, that and then the emotional traumas that they've all been
Which
through.
is in here too.
Uh-huh.
But next would be how to change your life. Become aware.
Yes. And I can actually teach people how to do that.
Specifically autism traumas like abuse, accidents, shock. Become aware of what has happened to you during your autism. Giving unconditionally, not money. These are things that can help you feel better. Giving of your talents, your time. Get out of your bubble of angst.
Volunteer.
Yeah. Replace worry.
Incredibly difficult one.
Okay, so he says physically doing something, creating.
Okay.
So like learning a musical instrument,
Mm-hmm.
learning to draw, paint,
Mm-hmm.
doing models,
Mm-hmm.
just doing something with your hands to get you out of your brain.
Yes, and I think autistic people are actually very good at doing things with their hands.
No, it would be that hyper-focus thing.
Exactly.
Using positive affirmations, he suggests that.
That works if you're not alexithymic. When you are, it doesn't do anything. Because it didn't for me. The positive affirmations to me were just so pointless.
This is still, some of this will work for you, some of this won't.
Right, and in a scientific publication, about 55% of adults with autism have alexithymia. So about another half don't. So the positive affirmations would probably be helpful for them.
Introspection. Find your intuition. Now, I know alexithymia, that won't work.
Yeah, and introspection works, but what you do is you wind up analyzing yourself to death, which I did. And although that was very helpful because it helped me realize, wait a minute, I got crap going on and I want to get rid of it. So the introspection is good whether you're alexithymic or not, I think.
This would work for some folks, the intention to feel good.
For those folks who are not alexithymic, that would probably work.
Selfishly seeking joy. This is not abusive, though.
Yeah, but people tend to have a negative view of the word selfish. And I'm telling you, real selfishness has nothing, it would be negative, but this is taking care of yourself. This is loving yourself. Finding something that gives you joy.
Walking out in nature.
I know a lot of...
Seeking out experiences that bring you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Breathe deeply. I know Mark was never a breather.
No.
There are lots of apps, phone apps, that have breathing on them. So they'll breathe in this long and there's something and then it has, or it'll show something moving like this and then moving like this and you breathe along with it. So you all right over there?
Yep. These just aren't sitting well.
No, these aren't good chairs. Discipline. Practice things that require discipline. Again, that instrument, drawing, doing something, learning a language, something that requires discipline.
And if you're alexithymic, you're going to need somebody to help you with that. Because being motivated to be disciplined is incredibly tough. So.
Spend 10 minutes a day saying what you're grateful for.
Okay.
Writing it down.
Yeah, see, and so often the positive mindset is negative. I mean, you all know that. You've seen it. And I've lived it. She's seen it. And it takes a lot of work to get out of that negative mindset. So spending 10 minutes writing down or thinking of what you're grateful for, that's going to help a long way, alexithymic or not.
You can start with, I'm grateful for this chair that I'm sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Question the status quo. Question your reality and question your beliefs.
Yes. Don't question other people's status quo
Only
or their
yours.
reality or their beliefs. Only yours. Because if you do that to other people, you're looking to get punched in the nose, and you probably should be.
Feel appreciation. So let's say Mark brought me a sandwich. I could sit in that feeling of him having brought me that sandwich and be, wow, that was so cool. Something that makes you go, oh, that was really neat. That was so cool. That was...
Well, and I could sit in that feeling of her being grateful for me bringing her a sandwich.
Of course, if you have alexithymia, that's not going to work.
That, yeah. Depending on the severity of it.
Yeah. Not all of this works for everyone, as I have said.
It doesn't.
Meditate. So go inward. Just start talking to yourself and see if you get an answer. If you get an answer that's negative, that's not who you want to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
You want to listen to the voice that's positive, loving, and supportive.
And patient. Maybe that's a good way to know that it's loving and supportive, is that it's patient.
Autism dysfunction is located in the nerves. Okay, so we just jumped a bunch. So now
we went to internal, emotional, introspective things to physical things.
I promise I'll put this in order. So dysfunction is located in the nerves. Okay, let me say this. The origin of autism is in the chakras. It shows up in the nerves and is specifically located in the muscles as brain damage, in the spine lumbar, upper limbs, heart, and tailbone.
Yeah. Well, that would be basically a whole spine, you know.
That would really mess up all your nerves, because that's what you all are, right? That's what all that is.
Yeah. Well, because that's where all the nerves come from, the spinal cord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he gave me a huge list of environmental issues that can be part of the problem with having autism. So I'm going to just list this, and I will put this in the book. And if anything jumps out at you, then you need to look at that. If you don't even hear it, then it's not meant for you. So here I go. Mosquitoes, tree dust, hay dust, weeds, bacteria, mold, sawdust. Holding.
I want to tell a story about mold.
Okay.
If you want to know how toxic mold can be, now you've heard of some people dying of mold poisoning and stuff like that. Sure, that's as toxic as it can get. But Michelle and I, this year in February, we had a big snowstorm here, and so it was on the ground for about 3 or 4 days. It was about 1.5 feet of snow.
Oh, this was 2 weeks. It was on the ground.
2 weeks on the ground. And so when it finally melted and got warm, she and I decided we'd take a walk in our favorite park, which is a few blocks south of here. Well, when we did, it was just warm enough, in the 40s, in the 30s, something like that. And I say that's warm because it was -4 for a whole week.
It was like 35 maybe.
Yes, 35 was the warm part, not the cold part. And so as we were walking through the park, we would sniff in real deep and we would smell the smells and all this kind of stuff because it had all been frozen to that point. You could, really, if a squirrel farted, it would have fallen to the ground. It was that cold. And so, so when we got back home, our noses were running a little bit and our eyes were watering. But by the next morning, our faces were swelled up, our throats were closed off because the mold that had been in the ground that had then come out after it got warm.
We could smell the mold.
You
could smell it.
But
we didn't know it was going to have an effect.
But the inflammatory reaction we had was huge. I hadn't seen one like that.
It was impressive.
It was impressive.
So we said mold, sawdust, grain dust, tobacco, nicotine, petroleum distillates, which includes oils, solvents, plastics, lubricants, waxes, paints. And then we get into pollen in general, and grasses, asbestos, wood, carbon monoxide, cyanide, limestone powder, auto exhaust, finishes, streams, ley lines, televisions, electrical lines, computers, alfalfa dust, turf, marijuana, milkweed, brush, carbon dioxide, pollution, sodium sulfate, formaldehyde, phenol, radon, mites. Now, I'm not sure I got all of it because he just kept going and going.
Well, I can tell you that if you just listen to all the different things on that list, how unhealthy must you be to have a reaction to even half of that stuff, let alone most of it? And I know that I had a reaction to lots of different things on that
Well,
list.
I remember the hay dust.
The hay, well, couldn't work at the zoo. I'd be flat on my back for 30 minutes in a stall with a bunch of goats because I had swept their corral out of the straw and the hay that they would eat or lay on. And then I'd get that in my lungs, and the antihistamine would just cause my throat to swell up, and I couldn't breathe hardly, and so I'd have to lay down until I'd recover.
You mean the histamine, not
The histamine
you said
reaction.
anti.
Yeah, the histamine reaction, yeah. And so, but never mind mold. My dad used paints constantly, and we were around when he used
He was
them.
a painter.
Yeah, furniture refinishing and that kind of stuff. So we were around the vast majority of that stuff. We were around it. So,
So I'm gonna move on now.
mhm.
If you have a, never mind. I don't know
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, so the belief structure of autism that exists because you've had it and you're getting well, that you've got to eliminate to completely heal. And it is suggested to put this in the gratitude, joy, love reactor. But it's much more complex than just that one channel. But just doing that is a start, and you would put each one in separately. So we start with, I have a poor self-image. Now I'm sure you can speak to several of these.
Several, probably all of them.
I'm being betrayed.
Yep.
So these are all things that have happened to a person when they were autistic.
Well, and now I know it's happened to NTs too, but I think because of the nature of autism, you stick out like a sore thumb sometimes, and that makes you a target for bullying.
Yeah, the whole bully thing.
And so a lot of this falls under because of that.
I'm not being protected.
Yep.
I feel rejected.
Yep.
I'm not emotionally available.
Yep.
You are going to leave me.
Yep.
I'm feeling hatred.
Yep.
Just want to remind you, this is stuff that your autistic kid is feeling right now, but they can't express it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling abandoned.
Yep.
And it's not your fault. You can't make a person not feel abandoned if they have alexithymia.
Yeah, or even if they don't, because it's something that you learn to do. I mean, what about the things that you learned growing up, the emotions that you learned, about yourself?
I'm controlling.
Yep.
I wasn't wanted.
Yep.
Now, almost everyone on the planet has that problem. I wasn't wanted. I'm not being heard.
Yep.
That's a huge one for autism.
Mm-hmm.
I feel rejected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lacking clarity and understanding.
Yep.
I'm not safe.
Yep.
I'm not worthy.
Yep.
I don't deserve.
Yep.
I lack self-love.
Yes.
I can't speak my truth.
Yep.
I'm not lovable.
Yep.
I'm limiting myself.
Yep.
I can't forgive myself. I'm sabotaging myself.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people have these, even if they're not autistic, but this is just, all of these have been true in my case.
And this is just programming, and you can use the channels to get rid of this programming. And I'm influenced by others is the other one.
Mm-hmm. I'll be right back.
Okay, so now I did that. We talked about the chakras and what needed to be done with that. The electrical body also has negative thought patterns, and I'm influenced by others. So he says the spiritual soul body is the electrical body, if someone knows that stuff. Okay, now we're going into the emotional body, which can be put through, these things can be put through the feelings channel. Again, you would go to the website to know what that is. Okay, boundary issues. Can you speak to that?
Yes. Not knowing my own boundaries, not knowing other people's boundaries.
Right.
And getting in trouble for not knowing other people's boundaries. Never mind that I didn't yell at other people because they didn't know mine, but, because I was always wrong. So.
Personal power struggle. So these are things that you put through the feelings channel because they're lodged in the emotional body.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming out of them.
Oh, all right.
Apathy, lethargy, and stagnation.
Definitely.
Abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, mental, spiritual.
Yep, most of those.
Yep. Obstinacy, passive aggressive.
Definitely.
But, these are all, again, I say, not everyone has every one of these. This is just all the possibilities that exist.
No, but it seems like I had almost all of them
You were
just so that I could teach everybody how to handle them all,
Bitterness, resentment, revenge.
Oh, definitely.
This guy. Envy, jealousy.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Moral issue.
Depends on what it was.
Right. Okay.
Stealing.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Lying.
Yeah. Complaining, being a victim.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Judgmental of self and others.
Oh, totally.
Disappointment.
Yep.
Dishonesty, lying to self and others.
Yep. Try not to lie to myself, but sometimes I lie to other people. So.
Abandonment.
Yep.
Lack, not enough.
Oh, yeah.
Control, dominance.
Oh, yeah.
Criticism, critical.
Yeah, of me and others.
Of me and others. False beliefs.
Oh, yeah, who doesn't have that?
Right. Despair, despondent, and
I
suicidal.
thought that said diaper, like that. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you were
Definitely.
suicidal at one point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Deservability, the lack of deserving.
Yeah, that was such an abstract concept. It didn't make much sense to me. And now it does. But, it took a lot of healing for, excuse me, for me to make sense of what that meant. So,
Health abuse. So think of all the things you've done for your autistic person, trying to make them well, but it's actually, they've taken it as abuse.
yeah, because I'll hear that all the time. Heard that a lot from autistic adults. Oh, these parents are abusing their children by only feeding them such and such and such and such to heal from something they can't heal from.
And that doesn't only affect the emotional body, that affects every one of the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And this cat over here, Fry, had this health abuse because we were giving him celery juice and rescue remedy.
Yeah.
And he took it as abuse, and I had to run that through the channels for him. And then I felt bad. And then I ran that through my own channel.
Yep. Nothing like the healer feeling bad for healing, people.
Okay, so now we're going to go into physical reasons for autism more, because I told you this is not in order. I took it as I received it, and I was working until 7:40 and had to eat. So I will put this in order once again. Physical reasons for autism. Gut damage.
Yep.
Can be a small or large intestine blockage.
Well, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Large intestine have large lesions and holes in it, and so it doesn't work. So yeah, totally.
A surgery or medical procedure could have caused an issue. Could have caused autism.
Possibly. Like appendicitis and appendectomy. Who knows?
So these are all, not everyone has all of these. These are possibilities. Something happened in early childhood. Brain damage. heavy metal toxicity.
Yep.
I spoke about over-the-counter meds with the liver not doing well.
We were not
So-
functioning properly. Yeah.
So for pain relief, it's probably best to go to a naturopath and instead of buying over the counter.
Yep. And I know a lot of you do that.
Now
So-
I know aspirin is a natural substance,
Jasmine.
so aspirin. But then there's I'm just saying, be really careful with that liver. Okay, incorrect prescription for type of condition could have been given.
Yep.
Chemotherapy can create an autistic
State condition.
yeah. Diabetes can. Toxicity level from over medication. He says please get a second and third opinion before medicine is given. You could also get a reading from me. Okay, things that can help. Hydrotherapy or baths. Kinesiology, shiatsu, rolfing. Going to a naturopathic doctor. Transforming beliefs. Hypnotherapy, NLP. Eating leafy greens, the heavy metal detox smoothie, celery juice, lemon water, smoothies, eating low fat, need lots of glucose.
That is most definitely true. So, medical medium, I know he talks about that, but that's one thing he's not wrong about. An autistic brain definitely needs more glucose because for years and years and years it's been starved of it because of the rest of the physical condition being so bad.
Raw garlic.
Yep,
So
definitely
important.
for strep, and it works really
And
well.
other things. It works on
Sure.
everything, including mold.
Yeah.
Now,
Lemon water.
if you know us, we have done the medical medium protocol. There is a no foods list. And there are 4 things on that no foods list that Philip says autistic people need to eat.
Mhm.
And so right now I'm going to tell you what those are. Eat fish. Have sugar, any form of sugar. But it's still low fat, so no fat, but any form of sugar. Nuts are a good form of fat, but no peanuts.
Peanuts aren't really nuts anyway.
Right. I just wanted to make that clarification.
What, the peanuts aren't nuts?
No, you made that clarification. I was saying between nuts and peanuts.
Nut peanuts, right.
And chocolate.
Eat chocolate.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Eat chocolate. So other than that, it's fruit and veg. And what we've been saying,
This whole time.
take VSC and Biocult.
Mm-hmm.
So VSC is a viral killer.
It's an herbal medicine from China, and I can't remember
Well, it's a Chinese recipe, I think.
yeah,
it's
that's
from
what I'm
here.
saying. Yeah,
But I think it's illegal to sell it in California. So if you're in California, I don't think you can buy it.
but you could probably buy it somewhere else and get it.
And Biocult is the
That's
probiotic.
That's Dr. Campbell McBride's formulation for your gut because she was healing her severely autistic son, and she was the lady who came up with the GAPS diet. The Biocult is actually her formulation, and it works the best out of anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been using it a long time.
Yeah,
Since
since
2013?
2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 8 years, 8.5 years.
85% of the population of the planet has some form of autism.
And now, so let me kind of expound on that a little bit. People want to think that autism is a rare condition. You know, I've seen people who have not been labeled autistic and who wouldn't otherwise be on the spectrum have enough symptoms so that I go, okay, I can't communicate with them well, they can't communicate with me well. What the hell's going on? And I just think that autism is really the disabling of the highest functions of the brain over a period of time. Because in Alzheimer's, for instance, people that I've known with Alzheimer's, they lose their memory, but they lose other functions as well. And I thought, you know, a lot of that could be labeled autistic, even though memory seems to be the biggest feature that they've lost. You know,
It depends on where the metals have deposited.
I think so.
And then what kind of pathogens you have.
Well, and it would make plenty of sense that that would be the case because each area of the brain has a different function. Nice catch. And so, you know, I don't think autism really is all that rare. I think maybe it probably needs to be renamed or something.
I think it probably needs a name. Or maybe it just doesn't need a name and everyone needs to know that you need to go on this diet and heal your beliefs.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, as slow-moving and as ultra-conservative as a scientific medical community can be, no, they're probably not going to listen to stuff like this. But thank God that there are some doctors, naturopaths, and others who have a good motivation behind them to want to help those who are on the spectrum. So,
well, autoimmune diseases, I think they're a form of autism. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
It's because autism isn't one thing.
Well, for instance, Lyme disease. Michelle was diagnosed with Lyme disease back in 1988. There's so many symptoms to Lyme disease, it just doesn't seem like a disease. It seems like a syndrome. And that's why there used to be Asperger's syndrome, because there's so many symptoms that it's hard to label it as a disorder with very defined symptoms. It's just not possible to do that. And I tend not to use the term disease because disease makes it sound like it's catching and it's caused by a microbe. Well, in a way, it's probably not catching, but in a way, it's definitely caused by microbes.
Well, I mean, it can also be catching. Look at, the science that COVID is causing long-term things, and that catches.
No, yeah, contagious, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know. That's up in the air, and truthfully, really don't care because you're going to have to heal from it when if you've got it anyway. So just heal from it. And who cares where it came from? So, but all right, what else?
Oh, I think that's the end of it. But
She thought this is going to be a multi-parter.
Well, it could be. We could talk about each one of them.
We could definitely get into it.
We could show them how to use the channels. I mean, there's so many. We'll probably have to do several videos on this, but this is something if something jumped out at you, you need to check into it.
Yes. If it caught in your attention like a fly in a spider web, then you need to undo the fly and question the fly.
And parents, you can run the channels for your kids. If your child is old enough to learn how to use the channels, I mean, first you have to learn, but they're easy. It's just breathing through a specific area of your body, and those figures are on the website.
Mm-hmm.
You can also download the PDF, which is free. Just go to 12thlightuniversity.com, which is 12th lightuniversity.com, and it'll pop up. And you just put your email in, and it'll be right there.
And you get a link to download it, yeah.
And so I will make this into a little book and put it in order. And, he might have more things for me to put in it. And then I'll let you know when that's ready, and I'll put that on the website.
And it's funny. We haven't talked about all the things that made up my autism in quite a long time. Michelle and I haven't. But talking to Philip, he literally outlined, I can't think of anything that I didn't have to deal with that he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of bizarre because I don't have the connection that she has with him. And I get frustrated with him and I'm distrustful and that kind of stuff, but when he corroborates at least 95% of what I had to deal with, and I've never specifically talked to him about it, then there must be something to it. It sounds strange, I know, but
it's your phone.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
okay.
But if you stop and you think about that, that's kind of a weird corroboration from somebody I don't even know.
Someone I can't see.
Yeah, someone I can't see. And yet 95% of what he told her about was exactly what I had to deal with.
Well, we had a gentleman send us a message on Facebook, and he said, well, I feel uncomfortable about readings maybe because I'm
because of my Christian
beliefs.
And, yeah.
Go ahead.
And I pointed out that both her and I were pastors' kids. Her dad was a Southern Baptist minister. My dad was Pentecostal Holiness. Mm-hmm. And so this stuff was not in our DNA, if we want to use a modern term for that.
Well, I had a grandfather who had visions. Mm-hmm. So that's the closest I can get to why I have this strain, this genetic strain of...
Right, but it was frowned upon in her family.
Right.
Now, there would be people who had visions in my family, or they'd talk about dreams that they had and this kind of stuff about loved ones who had passed on, but I was just like, pfft. And being autistic, I thought I knew better. I was like, pfft, that's BS.
Well, so I grew up with very negative views of mediums and psychics, and...
Well, and I had my own negative views of mediums and psychics and stuff like this, and I was like, pfft. These are just carnival freak sideshows.
So if you want to see my story about how I dealt with being okay with this, you can go. It's in the About section of the website.
Yes, and there are 2 videos on the website. One introducing herself and talking about her past, and then me being extremely long-winded and talking about my past.
You can't imagine that, right?
Not at all.
It's not like that at all.
But anyway, so check those out because, again, we were the last people who thought we'd be talking to folks on the other side.
So if you want help with all of these things to know exactly what your child or you have going on, there are 4 kinds of readings. One is the basic reading. So if you just need a short little help of some kind. Mm-hmm. Philip knows exactly what you need, and he'll say it, but it's short.
Yeah.
So that is the basic reading. Mm-hmm. You can look at these on the store, on the website. Avatar Reset 1.0 is an in-depth reading, and we're talking belief gestalts.
Every area of life that we talked about in this video. It covers that.
Covers everything.
In depth, each one of them.
Everything in the moment that you are asking about.
Yes.
Because we evolve.
And truth is, 95% of it is stuff you didn't know you needed to ask about, and you got the answers anyway.
So that would come with a PDF booklet and an audio explaining it.
Yes.
I've got hiccups now. Avatar Reset 2.0 is a once-a-week reading and an audio to explain each one. So if you want more help more often, that's the good one. That's a good one to get. Now, if you want to really dive in and really work hard, I've got one that has 8 readings a month, so twice a week, plus a phone call with each one. Mm-hmm. So you get a coaching call. So that might be me and Mark. It might be Mark. It might be me. Depends on how busy we get.
Yes.
So that is Avatar Reset 3.0. And then there are other things. We still have the book for sale that tells how we healed. And then we have the book that talks about what autism is and Mark's journey through it. Mm-hmm. And so just go to the website, 12lightuniversity.com/store, or you can just go to the menu and press store. Okay, so I'm going to get that book going together, probably not until the weekend, because Mark is off.
Next couple days.
And I like him.
Yeah.
And so I want to hang out with him. But today I spent a whole day.
She spent 5 hours doing this. 4.5, from 3 until 7:30. So, it took that long. At 3 o'clock, she goes, ask Philip, how much more do I got? And he goes, 95%.
Well, and it's really cool to have Mark home because we can do videos like this.
Yep.
But he is going back to work Saturday, so I don't know when our next video will be, but I'm doing a lot of podcasts on can you vibrate now?
Yes.
And That's in the Apple Store. It's hosted on my on our website, and I can get it on my Google Podcasts.
Yeah,
so
you can find it pretty much anywhere because as soon as you put it on like 2 or 3, it's like a disease and catches on at all the other podcast sites too.
So, and then of course we still have Helio Autism podcast, which this will be on there. So if you want to listen to this, you can do that. And I usually post that on the Facebook page. And then we put this video on YouTube. It's a lot easier to find the videos on YouTube. And then we've got the Instagram. It'll be on there too.
Yep.
So this is probably one you'll probably want to see multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want help, you know where we are.
Yep. All right, guys. We will see you next time.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.